Folks, you have been lied to your whole life. I'm here to tell you today about some things that you were really just flat out lied to. Probably not intentionally, but you have been lied to your whole life. And one of the worst lies that you have been told and that I was told that everybody I think that's watching today can relate to is the lie that time is money. And folks, why is that a lie? I'm going to go over that. Why is that a lie? And why is that such a dangerous lie in our life? Well, folks, my contention is that time is not money. Time is infinitely greater than money. Yet we've been lied to our whole life and taught that time is money. And why is that dangerous? Well, because most of us have been taught to trade our time for money. And we believe that by being more valuable in the marketplace, then we can trade our time for a higher amount of money, but it's still trading your most valuable asset for an asset that is a depreciating asset, for an asset that it's not a good use of your time to use it to just create money. Now, what do I mean by that, folks? Because a lot of you are probably going like, what are you talking about, Brad? Well, you know, when you were born and as you were growing up, you were probably told, hey, Bradley, you want to go to school and you got to get good grades in high school because in order to go to college, you got to have good grades or you got to, be good at sports. You got to get a scholarship. You got to do something because you got to go to college. Because then if you go to college and you do well in college, then you can get a high-paying what? A high-paying job. And folks, so one of the reasons that thinking that time is money is so dangerous is that it gets you on this thought process of trading your hours for dollars. And somebody working at McDonald's that's making $15 an hour is thinking to themselves, man, this is not a great place to be in, where somebody that's making $40 or $50 or $60 an hour at their job might feel like they've really arrived and like they're really doing something special in life. And I'm not here to say that the person working at McDonald's isn't doing well, and I'm not here to pat the person on the back that's making $50 or $60 an hour and telling them, hey, congratulations, man, you are doing incredible. Because the fact of the matter is both people are probably living, right on the edge. Because anytime your income is dependent upon the hours that you are going to work, folks, you are in a dangerous situation. Now, every single one of us that is here today watching this video, or myself even doing the talking, everybody here has a dream, a goal, a desire to have this magnificent life. They want to have a life where they're living in the house of their dreams, not the settled for house. They want the house that's sitting on a big piece of property, or maybe it backs up to a stream, or it's on the lake, or if you love the ocean, maybe you want oceanfront property. Some of you may or may not want a swimming pool. So everybody's dream is different. But like I envision my backyard having this massive swimming pool. And I have this imagination where I want the swimming pool to start off kind of inside the house and have like a room that is indoors, sheltered from the rain and the sun and all of that kind of stuff. And then it goes out into my yard. I've got a basketball court that can double into a tennis court, pickleball court, and so on and so forth. I imagine this massive, huge garage that's full of my dream cars. But my point is everybody's dream is different. But what I'm here to tell you is that the dream that you have is never going to be accomplished by the amount of hours that you can work in a day times the amount of dollars that you are going to make. So even high level people, let's say that you got yourself all the way up to $500 an hour. $500 an hour times 2,000 hours a year, if you were working 40 hours a week for 50 hours a year, That's only $1 million. And I say only $1 million. Now, $1 million is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. It's a nice little yearly income. But the trouble with that scenario, even as amazing as that sounds, is that it's dependent upon you working 40 hours a week. So how do you quit? What happens if you decide that you want to take 3 months off and you want to go on a cruise around the world with your wife and your kids? You know, well, I've checked into this. There's like a 90 to 120 day cruise that you can take all over the world. I forget how many different ports it is, but it's like 90 different ports. You get to visit dozens and dozens of different countries. It's amazing. And it would probably run you around, I want to say it was about $80,000 per person. So even if it was just you and your wife, you're looking at 160 grand. And then you're also looking at the fact that your $500 an hour doesn't exist if you're not there to do the work. And so if you were to take 3 months off, that would cost you $250,000 in your time, plus the $160,000 for the trip. And that's just for the cruise. That doesn't include all of the extra stuff that you're going to want to do, the money that you're going to want to spend on the ports and so on and so forth. So my point of view, folks, what I'm trying to help you really wrap your mind around is that making money by trading your time for it is a very dangerous place to be. And the reason that we have been taught our whole life and had that drilled into our head that that's the way to become successful is because the elite of this world, the people that we are trying to stand up against and give a little thumb in the nose to with our cryptocurrency journey, those are the exact same people that have taught us to go to school and to get a good education and to get a good job. Now, folks, you don't think that those are the people that have taught you that, because it wasn't them that actually said that. You know who it was. It started off with good old mom and dad. I got a good mom and I got a good dad. And my mom was really, man, she wanted me to go to school. She wanted me to get a good job. Now, I was a little lucky in the sense that my dad was entrepreneurial and he didn't believe that way. But I know that 99% of people out there, probably both parents, were really drilling it into your head from a young age that if you wanted to be successful, if you didn't want to be poor and struggling for money, that you needed to go get good grades. You needed A's, you needed B's, and you wanted to do good and apply yourself in school so that you could go to college. But I'm telling you, it wasn't your mom and dad that taught you that. That did not come. Your mom and dad didn't just wake up one day and say, man, the way to be successful is to go to school and get a good education and get a good job. No, that started well over 100, probably going on 150 years ago, when the Rockefellers and the Carnegies and the people that started building these big factories that were producing steel and were producing, you know, lumber to build and growing this country, they needed workers. And so you had the general population that was kind of the laborers, if you will, that made a little bit less money. And then what they did is they came up with this education system, and they started teaching people, hey, if you want to make more money and you don't want to be the one that's actually down there, you know, right next to the great big hot molten lava steel pit, you want to manage the people that are working, then this is what you do. You go to school and you go to college, and now you can be a manager and you can manage the people that are working in these factories, and we're going to pay you more money because everybody understands that it's more valuable. A person that can do manual labor is not going to be as valuable in the workforce as a person that can manage people. And that is how our education system started. And that's how this idea of going to school and getting a good education and getting a good job came to fruition. It came from the brainchild of the elite that basically sat down in a big room and started brainstorming, like, how in the world are we going to get people? Because you remember, up till then, you know, up until the mid 1800s or so, even, you know, even towards the end of the 1800s, most people, they owned their own business. You know, there was a blacksmith and he owned his own, it was the blacksmith owned the blacksmith company. You know, you had the person that owned the old, you know, the grocery store. You know, back then I can't even think of the name of it, but you had somebody that owned, you know, the grocery store. You had somebody that owned, you know, the tavern, the bar where people went and blew off steam. You know, you had somebody that owned the, shoed the horses and so on and so forth. You had the guy that, you know, that fixed the carriages back in the Old West. If you had a tire break or something, you had a guy that was a specialist. He learned, you know, somewhere along in his life, usually from somebody else that already owned a carriage fixing business. You know, he learned from somebody there, and then they moved. When people started traveling west, this gentleman that knew how to do this would move west with the caravan, and then he would open up shop wherever the next town was. And so, you know, it wasn't all that long ago that we all basically owned ourselves. We did what we wanted to do. We made a living through our own, you know, skills and technical savvy, and we owned businesses. And then the elite realized that they needed worker bees. They needed people that were willing to come punch a time clock from 8 in the morning until 6 o'clock at night, or whatever hours were needed. And that's how this current educational system came along, that basically programmed us from a very young age to think that going to school and getting a good education and getting a job was the way to having a dream life and the way to being able to live the life that we wanted. None of us at 16 years old were sitting here in front of our computers going, man, I really want to go work all day long for another person just so that I can afford to drive the car that I own and live in the house that I have and have a little bit of food. And that's what most people do. Do you realize, folks, that most people haven't taken a real good vacation in years, sometimes in decades? I have family members and friends that haven't taken a real good vacation in a handful of years, like 4, 5, 10 years that I've known them. They've never gone and done anything special. And a lot of the people that I know that do take a vacation, when they do it, they're pinching every penny. And, you know, they're flying coach, and they got to ask their boss for the days off, and they can't take 2 weeks off because they're only getting a week of paid vacation. They can't afford to take the second week off because it isn't paid, and they can't afford to take the trip and miss out on the money from work. And they're looking at, you know, they're looking at the nice hotels that are $300 or $400 a night, and they can't afford those, so they're staying at a Motel 6 while they're on this vacation, and so on and so forth. So even people that are doing fairly well, if you're making, you know, say $50 an hour, $50 an hour is $100,000 a year on your job. That would be considered, you know, be relatively good money. But in a lot of cities inside the United States, $100,000 isn't anything. If you live in New York, you live in California, you live in Washington State, $100,000 doesn't go that far. That's just enough, especially if you're married and you have a couple of kids and so on and so forth. So what is the point of all of this, folks? The point is that a job is an okay place to start, but it's a horrible place to finish. And what I would like you to start wrapping your mind around is creating ways to create freedom in your life. And so what do I mean by that? Well, let's just say instead of $50 an hour, let's say that you make $30 an hour. So 30 times 8 hours is $240, right? So if you could make $240 a month doing something that you didn't have to necessarily be there and be there for 8 hours a day. So $240 a month is 8 hours of your time. So let's say that you could figure something out that made you $240, but it only took up 30 minutes of your time. You would have just bought back 7.5 hours of your life. Well, I mean, let's do the math. If you do that a second time for $480, you've now bought back 2 days of your life. You do, 3 times 240, $720, and you've bought back 3 days. What's 5 times 240? 1,200. So you create something that takes up 3 or 4 hours of your life, and it makes you $1,200 a month. You have just bought back a whole week of your life, and that's, you know, on a monthly basis. So you've now gone from a, you know, 40-hour work week, 4 weeks of the month, to now you would only theoretically have to do three work weeks in a month. So I want you to start thinking about how can you create something that brings money into your life that's not tied to how many hours you are spending at your job. And so I'm going to kind of switch gears and kind of go into that. And we're going to talk about something that you've heard me mention before, but in life, you are doing one of two things, and there's no way around it. You're doing one of the two. You are either making offers or you are accepting offers. And what do I mean by that? Well, I would assume that for most of you that have a job, you probably went in and did a job interview, and you might have had a rough idea of what they were probably willing to pay for this job. You knew going in, this is going to be, you know, somewhere between $15 and $18 an hour, or this is going to be from $18 to $21 an hour, or the salary for this position is going to be somewhere between $35,000 and $40,000 a year. But you went in and did this job interview, and after doing the interview, the owner of the company or the person that was in charge of hiring then made you an offer. They said, Brad, this is what we're willing to do. This is the job title. This is the job description. And we will pay you $35,000 a year to come do this job for us. Do you accept our offer? And that's what most people do through their life. They're always accepting other people's offer. I would highly suggest that you consider whether or not the wealthiest people that you know in your life, the ones that have the cars and the houses and the time freedom to be with their kids and their spouses and really enjoy life, are they making the offers or are they accepting the offers? And I would say and be willing to bet good money that in almost every single case, they are making the offers. They are not accepting the offers. And so one of the first things that you want to do is awareness is half the battle. It's okay that you've been accepting offers your whole life. I mean, even in trade-offs, there's like in everything you do, you're making an offer. Hey, babe, I really want to go fishing with my buddies this weekend, and I tell you what, I know that you wanted me to be home this weekend and blah, 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 but this is a special weekend. These are guys, that I haven't seen all that often. We only get together once a year. So I tell you what, babe, if you let me go fishing this weekend, the next Friday night, I will take you out to your favorite restaurant. We'll get dressed up in really nice clothes. We'll make it super special. We'll have an incredible date night. We'll go out to your favorite restaurant, and then we can get a hotel down, next to the water on the Laguna Beach. We can go to the hotel there on the water, and you can have a spa day and blah, blah, blah. And guess what you did? You just made an offer. And your wife either accepts it or declines it. And hopefully, if you did a good job of making a good offer, you're out fishing with your buddies this weekend. But everything is an offer. You tell your son or your daughter, hey, son, will you please do me a favor? If you will clean the litter box every day this week, and you'll take the garbage out to the trash and you'll mow the lawn, I will pay you, $20, $30, $50 for an allowance. You're making an offer. And then hopefully you made a good enough offer that your child wants to accept that offer and do it in somewhat good spirits. But everything that you do, you have to see this. Everything is an offer. You're either making offers or you're accepting offers. Now, the cool thing about an offer, folks, is that a lot of times with an offer, you can make an offer once. You can create an offer once and yet have the offer continue to pay you for years and years and years to come. You know, once again, I was just listening to a little bit of Myron Golden, and he talks about this book that he created, that he wrote, called Trash Man to Cash Man, because he was you know, a garbage truck driver. And then he went to creating millions of dollars in his life through becoming a business owner. And he teaches foundational money principles in that book. He wrote that book back in 2006. He said when he wrote the book, he only got 500 copies of it because he was at this best-selling author conference, and they told the crowd that the average author never sells 500 books. And so he didn't want to have a whole bunch of books laying around, so he just bought 500 books. He was selling the books for 20 bucks a piece back then, and he sold 900 books in the first week that book came out and was published. So 900 times 20 bucks, he made $18,000 on that book in the first week. It was, you know, unbelievable. It was fantastic. But even better than that is just today, he was going through, like, since he went to bed at midnight last night, he woke up and like 3 of those Trash Man to Cash Man books had been bought. So he made 70, you know, they're $20 plus $10 in shipping and handling. Most of the time it doesn't cost him the whole 10 bucks. So let's just say that he's making, you know, 25 a book. It might be a little less, but let's say call it 25 for even math. It means while he was sleeping last night, he made 75 bucks. That doesn't sound like that much money, but that was just in the first 8 hours. And it was literally, he made a sale at like 12:28 in the morning. The next sale didn't come in until 6:30 in the morning because most people are sleeping between 12 and 8 in the morning. So that's in the worst 8 hours of the day. Imagine what he's going to do from, you know, 8 o'clock this morning until midnight tonight. His other book, Boss Moves, had sold several copies. He's got another book called Boss, Business Optimization Systems and Skills, that he put out in 2021. He sold multiple copies of that book last night while he was asleep too. So this is an offer. This is something that he did once, and now it's still making him money years and years and years later. I mean, the Trash Man to Cash Man is a 19-year-old book. Boss Moves is a 4-year-old book, and yet these sales are still coming in. He says on average, he makes $25,000 to $40,000 a month from these 2 books. So why aren't we making $25,000 to $40,000 a month with our books? Well, it's because we don't think we're worthy. Most of us think about, you know, somebody else writing a book, somebody that's done something in life, somebody that's had this success, somebody that's worth listening to, and we don't put ourselves in that category. And guess what? The only person that doesn't believe that you are worthy and that you have invaluable things to write a book about is you. You know, and maybe you have a few jealous friends and family, some average, mediocre people in your life that would maybe put down your desire to write a book. But I'm telling you, you're not going to run across a successful winner, somebody that's doing something in life that believes in better than average, that is going to put down your desire to write a book. I guarantee you, you're not going to find somebody having great success in your life and you go to them and say, man, I really want to write a book. And they're going to say, come on, Brad, you don't know nothing about anything. Why would you want to write a book? Nobody's going to want to read that book. That's a stupid idea. I promise you, that's not going to happen with big-minded, successful-minded people, because you are unique. You are unique, guys. God created you. There's only one of you. There's only ever been one of you, and there will only ever be one of you. Nobody else out of all of the billions of people on this planet have lived your life. Nobody else out of all of the billions of people that have been on this planet and that are going to continue to be on this planet have ever lived the experiences that you've lived. So, folks, I'm not telling you to write a book, but I'm telling you that a book is a pretty incredible idea for a way to create an offer. But there's a lot of different offers out there. You know, something else that I think is important is working on your attitude. Do you realize that you might You might be at a job right now that feels like it's a dead end job and you're just working your 40 hours a week. You show up and you basically, you know, the way that I heard this saying once, and it's so true. Most people at a job, they basically, the boss pays you just enough money so that you won't quit, and you do just enough work so that you won't get fired. And folks, that is in a nutshell how most people treat their jobs. If you go into your job tomorrow and you are extra happy and you're positive and somebody asks you how you're doing and you're like, man, it's the best day ever. I can't wait to crush it today on this job. I'm going to have the best day that I've ever had here at this job. People look at you like you got two heads. And then, you know, 12 o'clock rolls around and it's time to go to lunch, and you two or three, you know, buddies or, you know, the people in the cubicles around you say, hey, Brad, let's go, man. It's time to go to lunch. And you're like, no, man, I'm only going to take half an hour for lunch today because I'm working on something that's important to me. I want this to be excellent. I don't want it to just be average. What do you mean you're gonna work for 30 minutes for free? Like, you're not getting paid for lunch, Brad. Yeah, I know, but I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna go get my lunch a little bit later on my own time. I want to do this work incredible. You're supposed to show up at your job at 8 o'clock, and instead you start showing up at 7:30, and you've already done a half an hour's worth of work before everybody got there. You're supposed to get off at 5 o'clock at night, and you're there until 6. I'm telling you, folks, this is a massive, massive mindset shift that you can make. Focus on what you can control. Who do you think the boss is going to promote? The person that's there just barely doing enough to not get fired, or the person that's showing up early and staying late and working during their lunch breaks? You might feel like you're underappreciated and like your boss isn't noticing and that you're doing it all for nothing, but I promise you that you're not. Number one, God sees what you're doing, and you cannot outgive God. So if you are coming in early and you are staying late and you have a fantastic attitude, and the boss comes to you and says, hey, Brad, man, I know you're busy. I know you've got all this other work to do, but I'm really struggling with this project and I would love it. Could you help me a little bit with this project? And the boss comes to you because you're the guy that he recognizes, that he sees as staying early or coming early, that's staying late, that's working on their lunch break. So he comes to you when something special comes along. And guess what? Because you've been working hard and you've been honing your skills and you've got a great attitude, you knocked that project out of the park. And now the boss comes to you the next time he needs something special done, and you knock that out of the park. All of a sudden, the boss realizes that you're invaluable, and you say to your boss, hey, boss, I really love working here, but I'm not making the kind of money that I deserve to make. Your boss is going to give you the raise because he doesn't want to lose you. And guess what? If he doesn't give you the raise, that's okay. Other people are going to have noticed that you're the guy that shows up early, that you're the guy that stays late, you're the guy that has a good attitude, you're the guy that when they say, hey, how you doing today? You say, I'm doing phenomenal, man. Today's going to be the best day ever. Not the guy that says, not too bad. Dude, that bugs the crap out of me. Don't ever say to somebody when they ask you, hey, how you doing today? Never say, not too bad. And I'm not going to lie to you. This isn't my idea. I was listening to, it was Myron Golden too. That was like, what does that even mean? How can you be doing not too bad? I mean, like, think about that. When you hear that, you don't even think about it until somebody brings it into your awareness. But what in the world does not too bad mean? That means that you're doing poorly, you're doing badly, but you're just not doing too bad. Like, you're doing bad enough to where you can like manage it. You're okay. Like, you're doing bad, but you're not doing too bad. Horse manure, rah, drives me crazy. You do not see successful, excited entrepreneurs, people that are winning in life, say when they get asked how they're doing, they don't say not too bad. The other one that really bugs me as well, you know, like, I woke up today. Come on, man. That's it? That's all the better that you're doing as well. I woke up today. I'm at least, you know, I'm on this side of the ground. I mean, folks, you have to understand that these things matter. When I go out and I'm out in public and somebody asks me how I'm doing, man, I look them right in the eyes and I give them a big smile and I say, I'm having a fantastic day. How are you? And I look at them and I mean it, and I look them right in the eyes, and they can tell that I really want to know how they are doing. You know, I don't just say, hey, I'm good, thanks, how are you? And just down the road. And if somebody says to me, not too bad, I'm like, oh, really? You know, what's causing you to not be fantastic? And they'll give me this weird look like, what do you mean? I'm at Dutch Bros serving coffee today. How can I be fantastic? I'm sitting here taking your stupid coffee order. How could I be fantastic? But I'm telling you, the guy that's going to end up owning the Dutch Brothers is the guy that's out there telling you he's fantastic too, and he's excited and he's glad that he could be there to serve you today, and he's going to make sure that you get the best cup of coffee that you ever had as fast as you've ever gotten it, and that you're going to love it so that you want to come back and get some more in a couple hours. You want to go back to Dutch Bros and get another cup of coffee, and you're hoping that person is going to be there because you love the way that they treat you and that smile that they have on their face and that they're enthusiastic about their job. And I know most of you watching today are probably thinking I'm crazy too. And when you start to live like this, the people that are around you are going to think you're crazy. They're going to wonder what's going on with you. Like, did you get thumped upside the head? What in the world? Come on, man. Brad, this job sucks. Why are you so excited? Because it's a job. Do you realize that without this job, I would be hot in the summer and cold during the winter, but because of this job, I can afford heat and air conditioning? Do you realize that without this job, I love this analogy, without this job, I'd have a Motel 6 refrigerator? What does that mean? Well, Motel 6 says they'll keep the light on. You go get a Motel 6 and you open the refrigerator door and all there is a light. You know, well, I've lived like that. I've had refrigerators that all that there was inside of the refrigerator was a light. I've had times in my life, as many of you could probably relate to this, where my car tabs were overdue and I got a ticket for driving with expired tabs. And my choice in life was, do I pay the ticket or do I go renew my registration and pay for the tabs so that I don't get another ticket? You know, I've never necessarily had my electricity and water shut off like some other people that I listen to, but I can definitely relate to, have you ever got the bill and you got an electric bill in one hand and you've got the water bill in the other, and you're like, okay, well, which one do I pay this month? Or, you know, I'm going to pay this one now and I'm going to get this one paid in the next 2 or 3 weeks before they shut it off. I've gone through that in my life. And you realize that this job at Dutch Bros that these people have, they're making like $21 an hour here where I live. I know that's not a fortune, but $21 an hour to stand out there and take orders and be nice to people, it ain't the worst job in the world, and it's a good stepping stone. But my point is, until you get happy and you can have a good attitude and you can walk in and do the best job that you can do, not because your boss is the best guy, not because your job is the best job, not because your coworkers are pleasant to be around, just because you believe in personal excellence and that you want to be the best you that you can be. And you also understand that you can't outgive God, and that God is blessing you with all of these things. You know, I heard it said the other day, and I think it was valuable. How would you feel as a mom or a dad if Christmas came around and you gave your child this really cool Christmas present that they'd really been wanting, and they open it up and they say, oh, wow, that's really cool, Dad, thanks. Where's the rest of my presents? Where's the rest of them? And you're like, well, that's your present. And they're like, oh, seriously, man, this is it? This is all I got? Come on, man. Seriously, Dad, this is it? How would that make you feel? It would probably make you feel like taking the one good present, that Sony PlayStation 5 or whatever, and taking it back to the store and get your money back. You'd be like, well, you ungrateful little... And you would not feel good about that at all. Well, how do you think God feels when you wake up in the morning and you're like, I hate this house, and I don't like my car, my job sucks, you know, my wife is miserable, and all you do is think about all of the things that you have in your life and you're totally ungrateful for them? How do you think that makes God feel? Do you think that that puts God in a position where he's excited and wants to bless you with even more things that you can be ungrateful for? Absolutely not. And that hit me like a ton of bricks, folks. I am not preaching. I have had, complaint-itis, or, been, frustration, ungrateful-itis many times in my life. And I have to catch myself, like, I don't necessarily, where I'm living right now is not by a long, long, long ways my dream home. It's not my dream situation. It's a spot, though, that is allowing me to rebuild and keep my expenses down so that I can work on getting back to my dream life. And when I first started living here, I was ungrateful. And then, man, I realized, you know what? I've got a nice warm bed to sleep in. I've got heat. I've got air conditioning. I've got a beautiful yard. It's got a pretty good yard for my dogs. Back where I used to live was a way nicer house, but it had a little teeny tiny backyard. My dogs, it felt like they were in a little, aquarium bowl. Now they've got room to run. And anyway, so my point is, we all tend to gravitate towards ungrateful-itis. And I'm telling you that one of the ways that you can change your life is by turning that ungratefulness into gratitude and realizing, how much we actually have to be thankful for. I was listening to a story over the weekend with my wife where this young boy he was playing around railroad tracks and he was trying to jump a train, and he ended up getting sucked underneath and it cut off one of his legs. So here this 7-year-old boy is having to go through the rest of his life, with one leg. And this was back, a while ago, to where there wasn't, prosthetics, and there wasn't some of the technology now. But, this boy just, had to, go through this life without a leg. And it really affected him in so many ways, not positively either. But I thought to myself, man, I'm so blessed that nothing like that ever happened to me. I've got a high school friend that literally just got told by the doctors that she had a few months, a few weeks to a few months to live. She's my age, 51 years old, has cancer, been fighting cancer valiantly for the last 10 years, got cancer at a pretty young age, around 40 years old. The doctors told her back then that she only had a few months to live, maybe a couple of years. And she's been, made it 10 years, thought that she was in pretty good shape. And then all of a sudden it came back, but here she is at 50 years old, 51 years old. Pretty much the diagnosis is that it's over. Just enjoy the rest of your life as much as you can. She's got a young daughter, and they did a big GoFundMe, and they raised enough money so that her daughter could come spend time with her and not have to worry about her bills. And then I wake up in the morning and I think about some of the things that I'm frustrated about in my life. And then I've got this gal, this friend of mine from high school, that has an incredible zest for life, is so positive. She's taking this, she's taking this so well. Now she does believe in God, and she knows that Jesus Christ is her savior. She knows she's going to heaven, but that doesn't make it any easier for her to know that she's going to leave this earth at such a young age, and that she's leaving behind her daughter and people that love her. She's not going to get a chance to be around her grandchildren as her daughter gets older, and all of those kinds of things. And then last but not least, yesterday I'm on my Facebook, and some people that I know through business that I used to be in, their 23-year-old son just got married 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. And he's on his honeymoon, and something tragic happened, and he lost his life yesterday. Can you imagine? Can you imagine your 23-year-old son that just got married, been married for 3 weeks? Can you imagine losing him? Can you imagine being his wife at 23 years old? You've met the man of your dreams and you're totally in love, and you lose your husband at 23 years old. You're a widow at 23 years old. Folks, my point is, quit being a baby about the stuff in your life that you ain't happy about. I promise you, it could be way, way, way worse. Start being grateful for the things that God has given you, and be expectant and excited about the things that he's going to continue to give you, instead of being ungrateful and unhappy in your current situation. Because I promise you, there's people out there that would trade you for your situation in a heartbeat. With that, folks, I love you all, and I want to see you guys succeed and have the life of your dreams. And that's why these Mondays exist. And so I'm going to get on to, how do you get to this spot in your life where you've got the time and the money? Well, once again, it goes back to creating offers, folks. Create some offers in your life. And I'm not here to sales pitch you and give you a big sales pitch, but I do want to share my screen here real quick, and I want to show you something. I didn't even necessarily plan on doing this, but I wanted to share this with you guys real quick because it just came to my mind. One of the things that I think is important if you want to change your life and you're thinking to yourself, hey, this offers thing has something to it, but I can't think of an offer. Like, what in the world, Brad, do I have to offer? Well, that's a good place to start. That's what you should ask yourself. What do I have to offer? That's an incredible place to start. That's a great question. So right there's two different ways you could take this today. You could say, gosh, I don't have anything to offer. I don't have anything that people would want to know from me. And you could just leave it like that. And with that negative mindset, you will never think of an offer. Or you can say, man, I can't think of an offer right now, but what do I have? What special life experience have I gone through? What offer could I possibly create? And let your subconscious mind go to work for you. And one of the ways that I think you can do that, folks, that I would highly recommend is, like I just said right here, Myron Gold, in my opinion, is the best business coach on the planet. I do earn affiliate commissions if you make purchases from the links below. The Make More Offers Challenge is incredible. I have taken it once and about ready to join it for the second time. So if you are being drawn in by this conversation and you would like to learn more about how to mold an offer and create an offer and create something that can create financial freedom in your life, something that can make you money while you're asleep, I would recommend going and clicking on this link and then taking a look at this page, the Make More Offers Challenge. Listen to his video here, and then click join the challenge, folks. And you can see here, he's got another one on April 7th through April 11th. It's $97. And it gets you 5 days, an hour a day for 5 days, Monday through Friday. If you can't watch it live, you get limited access to the replays. I think they do the replays for like 24 to 48 hours that you can watch the replay. But this is not recorded. This is live. And it's, it's usually around, I want to say about 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time to 11 o'clock, or 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, right in that time frame. And then for $297, you get a VIP experience, which gets you an extra hour. And that basically allows you to be involved in a Q&A. So people that have paid even more than the $297 get to go ask Myron a question and get a one-on-one experience with Myron and get his answer. And you get to listen in during that hour. So for the $97, you get an hour a week, or an hour a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then for the $297 VIP experience, so yeah, you see here, so noon to 1 Eastern time. So 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. And then from 11, or the VIP experience is from 11 to 1 Eastern time. So it's either 8 in the morning till 11 in the morning Pacific Standard Time, or it's just 9 to 10. So you either get 1 hour or 2 hours. This is something that I believe everybody watching this show should take. Like, this is something that I want to get my son and my daughter and my wife and my friends and my family to listen to, because it will totally change your mindset and help you to create some incredible new things in your life. The second thing that I would highly recommend is this Boss Moves book. You click here on this link, it takes you to the website where you can buy his Boss Moves. You can listen to this little video here, and boom, just send me a copy today. This is the Boss Moves book. I have it here somewhere. I wish I knew right where it was. It's close. I don't think this is it. Nope, that's not it. I don't know where I put it. It's right here close, but I bought it and read it in literally read it in a couple of days. And it's been, transformational. It's been life-changing for me. And then I just realized, folks, I did all of that and I never even clicked on the page. So if you go here to the YouTube channel, today's YouTube channel, right at the top of the description, you've got a link to the Make More Offers Challenge where you can check this out. You can hit join the challenge here after you listen to this video. $97 for the general admission, starting in 13 days here, April 7th through the 11th. It's a Monday through a Friday. $297 for the VIP experience. And then once again, if you click the link here, Boss Moves Book, that'll take you to the website where you can directly order your book right off of his website and have it sent to you in a relatively short period of time. Usually takes maybe a few days or a week to get to you. Anyways, that's not a sales pitch for those of you that aren't interested in this kind of stuff. No worries. Don't sweat it for a second. Like I said, I do get some affiliate commissions if you sign up. So you are supporting the channel at the same time as you're doing something amazing for yourself. Something else that I really wanted to go over, where are we at? 9:51. So something else that I wanted to, share with you guys that I heard recently, that's a statistic that I thought was pretty phenomenal. You realize that the average person has around 75,000 thoughts a day. Man, that's crazy to think. You have 75,000 thoughts a day. But the craziest thing about that is that 91% of them are all the same thoughts. That's why, folks, if you've ever seen the Bill Murray movie Groundhog Day, if you haven't, it's an old movie, but it's worth watching. He literally wakes up and goes throughout a whole day. And then the next day he wakes up and it's exactly the same day as the day before. So to give you an idea, like in the first day, it's cold out, it's snowing out, and he steps in this mud puddle and it goes about, yay high all the way up to his knee, and he's cold and he's dripping wet. And, he goes through his day. The second day he wakes up and he steps in that same hole again. And then he kind of realizes throughout his day that, he kind of starts to realize, man, this day was exactly like yesterday. He starts to realize he's seeing the same people in the same spots and they're saying the same thing. So the third day he wakes up and he walks up and he almost steps in the hole, but he doesn't. And the movie kind of goes along like that. But my point is, if you're thinking 75,000 thoughts a day, and 91% of those thoughts are exactly the same as the thoughts from yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before and the day before. That's why it feels like, folks, when you think about people that just talk about, yeah, I get up, I go to work, I come home, I eat dinner, I watch a little TV, I go to sleep, I wake up, I go to work, I come home, I eat a little dinner, I watch a little TV, I go to bed, I get up, I go to work. That's why our lives feel like Groundhog's Day, folks, is because we're thinking the same thoughts every day. You realize that you can't think new thoughts without starting to create a new pathway, without creating, new pathways in your brain and slowly changing. So the point is, folks, we have to really focus on that 9% of the thoughts that are new. And the way that you get new thoughts, God bless you for watching this today. The way that you get new thoughts is by watching stuff like this, by going and getting that Boss Moves, by going and watching his Make More Offers Challenge. Folks, that's how you start to step out of the life that you're living and get out of that mundane, just, that habit of, you wake up and you get dressed, you brush your teeth, you drive the same path to work every day. Like, seriously, this might sound crazy to you, but today, if you're going to go to work today after you watch this, I challenge you to just take a couple different turns. Don't go to work the same exact way that you always go to work. Maybe turn a couple of blocks before your office and take a back road around. Maybe it's an extra 1-minute drive, but you will realize that all of a sudden you're going to see new places. You're going to see new houses. You might see a car parked in somebody's driveway that reminds you of a car that you had when you were young. Maybe it'll spark some nostalgia, or it'll spark something like, you're like, yeah, man, That's my dream car. Or you'll drive by a house that's got this landscaped yard that you just like, oh my gosh, that is my dream yard. That's what I want. Open up your brain by doing little things. If you get up and you go to the gym at 5 o'clock every single morning, I don't want to get you out of your routine, but maybe consider like one day a week, go into the gym after work, because you're going to meet new people. You're going to see new people. You're going to experience new things. You know, I don't know about you guys, but my wife and I, we have like 3 or 4 or 5 restaurants that we love. They're our favorite restaurants, and we go to them pretty consistent when we go out because we know what we're going to get and we like it. But I'm telling you, folks, there's something special when you step outside of that box and you go to a restaurant that you haven't been to before. These little things, you know, maybe you take a vacation, you've got a special place, and you go to the same place for your family vacation every year. Consider switching that up. These are little things that you can do that will start to open your mind to new possibilities. So I want to get to this really quick. I've got a few things that you can do today and moving forward that can help you, you know, to train your brain. You know, this video was titled How to Train Your Brain to Attract Everything You Desire. And so think new thoughts by getting around new people. You're not going to break free of the chains that have held you where you're at for the last 5 or 10 or 20 years by hanging around all of the same people. I'm not telling you that you have to lose your friends, but I am telling you that there's some people that you're spending time with that you probably need to spend a little bit less time with. You know, if you really go on this journey in the right way, most of your friends are going to notice the differences, and you might get lucky and find a friend that wants to come on this journey with you. But most people 19 out of 20 people aren't going to understand you. They're not going to understand what you're trying to accomplish. And they're not going to understand why you think you're so great. And it's not even that you think you're so great. You just understand that God made you in his image and that God is great. God is powerful, and therefore you are great and you are powerful. You're not coming at it from an arrogant point of view. You're not trying to act like you're better than them. You just realize that you're more powerful and that you've got more potential that inside of you than you've been living up to. And you've just made a decision that you're going to live to your full potential. Most people that you know, that's going to scare them, because they don't have that belief in themselves. And so it's much easier for them to tear you down and to pull you back into their circle than it is for them to go with you on your journey. So be prepared. You're going to at least temporarily lose some of your friends that don't understand the journey that you're taking. But I'm telling you, it's okay, because those same people are going to come back in a year or 2 or 5 and be like, yeah, man, I knew Brad before he ever even invested in one crypto. I knew him when he was so broke he didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Man, he's fantastic. I love Brad. These will be the same people that during the 5 years that it took you to build your dreams were poo-pooing on you, and behind your back we're talking about, yeah, that Brad sure thinks he's something special. Look at this guy. This clown, he started a YouTube channel. Who does he think he is? Those same people, once you have the success that you're going to have, will act like it's the greatest thing in the world that they knew you, 5 years ago before anybody else knew you. And so be prepared. And the way that you want to do that, break free by, joining, YouTube channels like myself. Get into some groups of people that are thinking bigger. And that's one of the reasons I really love like this Make More Offers challenge. You're going to get into his Facebook group with a lot of other people that have a lot of great ideas that are all helping each other try to make offers and create things in their life. So once again, whether it's the Make More Offers challenge or whatever it is for you, break free of the friends and family that are holding you back and get around other people that want extraordinary lives. The second thing is make better offers. I know we already talked about this, but you got to make better offers. Quit being the guy that is accepting offers and start being the guy that is making offers. You got to think of your brain, your mind as a weapon. And then you got to start aiming it at things. And that's what we've been talking about for the last hour. Like, so many people, you just go through life on autopilot. You're not noticing the opportunities around you. You're not seeing the beauty in life. You're not grateful for the struggle. Do you realize that without the struggle, without the test, there would be no testimony? That everybody that you look up to that's super successful, that has this amazing life and that you really admire, they've gone through more crap in their life than the people that are just average and that you don't admire. So understand that the struggle and the test is part of the process, and be grateful for it. Understand that when you're going through the toughest challenge that you've ever gone through in your life, look up to heaven and say, thank you, God, for this challenge. I know you're using this to mold me into the man or woman that is going to be able to change other people's lives and to become extraordinary. So you got to use your mind as a weapon, and you got to aim it for yourself. Quit letting other people aim your mind. You got to aim your mind and then point it at what you want and be doggedly focused on what you're going to achieve. But remember, just think about your mind as a weapon. Quit just letting things come into your mind at random without ever filtering them and trying to decide if they are good for you. Like, for folks, just like I started this off with, we've been lied to our whole lives. Time is money, is what people have told us. Most of us just accepted that as a fact. We accepted it as truth without ever really thinking about it. Somebody that, is doing pretty well in life or whatever, and you say, hey, can we, you want to go out to dinner tomorrow night? They're like, sorry, Brad, I'm pretty busy, man. Time is money. I can't go out to dinner with you tomorrow night. And you think, oh, time is money. Most people never think about the things that they're being told. Even today, as much as I feel like I'm giving you good advice and I want to believe that hopefully I'm giving you life-changing information, don't just soak it all up and spout it off like it's 100% truth. I could be wrong about some things, so Brad, hey, I appreciate everything that you said, but I disagree with you on this. I love that. Don't just take everything that I say as the holy grail. Run it through your filters. Run it through other people's truths. Run it through other successful people. Say, hey, man, I know you're doing incredible in life. I'm watching this guy on YouTube that I think is amazing. He said this, and this. What do you think about that? It's okay to even question me, but point your mind at what you want. Aim your mind. I want you to think about that all day long today. Aim my mind, aim my mind, aim my mind. You're driving down the street, and all of a sudden, you're daydreaming about a scenario that you don't want in your life. You're thinking about a bill that's due next week, and you're not sure where the money is. You're thinking about, how you had a fight with your significant other, and what a miserable person they are, and blah, blah, blah. I want you to aim your mind, aim your mind, aim your mind. You know what? That fight that I had with my spouse, there was probably some things that she said or did that I probably brought on. I'm at least partly to fault. And you know what? She kind of made some good points. I don't agree with most of what she said, but I do agree when she said this. That was actually probably a pretty good point. And you know what, Brad? Quit taking things so personally. Why do we always have to assume the worst? When somebody says something to us, it's so easy to assume the worst. I want to assume the best. So I'm going to assume that my spouse, when she said that, actually had a good intention. She wasn't trying to nag me. She wasn't trying to cut me down. She actually was really trying to help me. Like even today, my wife said, Brad, make sure you remember to monetize the video. Well, I mean, I could have taken that two ways. I could have been like, well, you think I'm too stupid to remember how to, to monetize the video and blah, blah, blah. And like, what do why do you think you got to remind me? That would be a bad way to take that, though. She wasn't trying to put me down. I do have a horrible memory when it comes to monetizing my videos. You don't know how many times the video's been up for 2 or 3 days or a week before I realized that I forgot to monetize it. So, but the thing is she's not putting me down. She's trying to help me. But so often in our lives, because of our own insecurities and fears and things that have happened to us when we're a kid, somebody will give us some good constructive criticism and we take it totally the wrong way. So aim your mind. when you're thinking about that bill that's due next week and you're in despair and you can't figure out how you're going to pay it, and you're just like, whew, it like causes you to tense up and you get this pit in your stomach. Aim your mind. Remember, hey, I am not my provider. God is my provider. This bill is not too big for God. Pray, God, I cannot handle the stress of these financial things that are coming down across me. I got, this guy calling me about money that I owe him, and I've got my electric bill due, and I got a shut off notice, and this is happening and that is happening. God, please carry that on your shoulders. My shoulders are not wide enough. God didn't put us here on this earth to carry all the burdens. God wants us to give him our burdens, just like a kid. If you had a son that comes to you and he's like, hey, Dad, man, I'm going through this relationship trouble. Maybe you got a 14, 15, 16-year-old son. I know that it's something that I love it when my son comes to me and he's like, hey, this is going on in my life and I don't know what to do, Dad. Can you help me? Man, I love that. And God loves it too. God loves us more than we love our own kids. He loves our kids more than we love our kids, which is hard to imagine sometimes. But if you as a parent love it when your kid comes and asks you for your help, doesn't it make sense that God would love it when you come and trust him and ask him for his help? And I'm telling you, if you want to create peace in your life and you want to be able to relax and understand that it's all going to be okay. Guys, guess what? If you're 25, 35, 45, 55 years old, you've had money challenges. This ain't the first time you've had a money challenge in your life, right? So why do we do the same thing over and over and over and over? You had a money challenge when you were 25. You got through it, right? Now you're 30. You got through it. You're alive. You're still here. You still got your house. You still got your car. Like, none of you that are watching this are probably homeless. So you've always figured out a way to keep a roof over your head, keep your bills paid, even if they're a little bit behind. What makes you think if that happened at 25 and 30 and 35 and 40, why are you still worrying about it at 45? Give it to God. You are not your provider. That's something else, different topic, different subject, totally different day. But if you will get it out of your head that you are your provider, that will make your life so much easier, because you can trust the infinite God, the God that loves you more than your own parents loved you. You can trust God. He says in Matthew, I think it's Matthew 3:25, somewhere right in there, like, do not worry about tomorrow. The weight of the world has enough worries in itself in today. That's paraphrased. That was actually probably a horrible demonstration of that verse. But basically, God tells you, do not worry. Especially do not worry about things that are a week or two in the future. All sorts of things can happen over the course of a couple of weeks. Anyways, aim your mind, aim your mind, aim your mind. I want you to say that to yourself 1,000 times today. Every time you start thinking about something that doesn't serve you, every time you start thinking about something that doesn't take you towards your dreams and goals in the life that you want, I want you to say, aim your mind. Aim your mind, Brad. Aim your mind, Tim. Aim your mind, Eric. Aim your mind, Pablo. Aim your mind, XM Textiles, and everybody else. I'm not even looking. I haven't looked at the chat one time. So other than the first 3 or 4 people that made a comment, I haven't even looked at the chat. But I'm assuming that those guys are probably here. Aim your mind, Eric. You're driving down the road today and you're thinking, man, I really need to sell a house. And if I don't sell a house, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. This bill might not get paid. Aim your mind, Eric. And remember, hey, God is my provider. I don't have to sell a house. There's a million different ways that that God can come through with this money for me. Million different ways that this can happen. And I'm just going to relax and I'm going to give it to God and trust God, because God is my provider. Everything that you have that is good has been a blessing to you from God. So aim your mind. If you get nothing else out of this whole hour and 15 minutes, I want you to remember, aim your mind. Aim your mind at what you want. Aim your mind at what is beautiful and lovely and is positive and is a blessing and is a great thing in your life and is kind and is gentle and is serving other people. If you focus on those things, it's near impossible to be unhappy. It's near impossible to have anxiety and stress overflowing in your life, if you're focused on love and kindness and goodness and abundance, and you're trusting God in his time to make all of your dreams come true. I found out in my life, last but not least, that most of the time when God has blessed me and giving me my dreams, he always goes above and beyond, and it's even better than I dreamed it. That's the kind of God that we serve. God wants you to have abundance. He wants you to have the things that you want in life. A lot of the dreams and the things that you're striving for came to you through your imagination, which is God's biggest gift to us human beings, our imagination. So God wants you to have those things in your life. He just wants you to grow into the person that can handle those things, that's going to do good with those things. God wants you to be responsible with those things as he gives them to you. And that's why sometimes we think we're ready for the things, and God knows that we're not quite ready. And that's why our time is obviously so often we are rushed and we want it right now. And God knows it's coming. It's just 3 months or 6 months or even 6 years away. Folks, most of us, if somebody told us right now that, hey, in 6 years, you're going to have every single thing that you ever wanted out of life. You're going to have the car of your dreams. You're going to have that, like my first car was a 1970 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, blue 350 V8 automatic, pretty cool little muscle car. And so one of my dream cars is the Oldsmobile 442 convertible. So the Olds Cutlass Supreme 442 is a special make and model from back in that day that they made a limited edition of. The one that I want, I believe it was came with a 396 cubic inch V8. I want the convertible version. And it's because it reminds me of my first car. My first car was a 2-door hardtop. But, like if somebody told you, hey, you're going to have your dream car, you're going to have that Oldsmobile convertible, you're going to have that red Ferrari, you're going to have the Cadillac Escalade, you're going to have the house with the pool and the basketball court and the tennis court. You're going to be able to go on all of these amazing vacations. You're going to be able to take your wife to Ireland and Italy and Australia and travel all over the world. You're going to have an incredible relationship with your wife or your husband. Your kids are really going to love you because you've been present with them and you've been there for their football games and their softball games, and to get up in the morning and take them to school and pick them up from school. And like, people are going to love you. You're going to be one of the biggest tithers to your church. You're going to give a lot of money to your church and really help your church. Like, everything that you're sitting here envisioning in your life is going to come true. All you got to do is wait 6 years. Well, I believe that most of us that are on this YouTube channel, that would not be the worst thing in the world by a long shot. Like if you're 25, 30, 35, 40, even my age, I'm 51. If I knew that I was going to have absolutely everything that I ever wanted, that I've ever dreamed about, the private jet with the Infinite Crypto logo on it, and all I had to do was wait till 2031, I'd be 57 years old, and God willing, I would hopefully have, another 10, 20, 30 years to enjoy that. That wouldn't be too bad. And if you're sitting here at 25, 30, 35 years old, and it was going to take you 6 years to get there, if you could really see it and you knew it was true, like God himself popped into your world and just talked to you for a minute and said, hey, I need you to be patient. Everything that you want is right here. 6 years from now, you're going to have it. All you have to do is wake up each morning with a positive attitude and excited about life, grateful for what you have, and basically go out and try to be the best man or woman that you can be. Become the best version of yourself. Go get as healthy as you can get. Be as friendly as you can to other people. Be good to other people. Be giving and generous as much as you can. Love your children and your friends and your family as much as you can. Just go out there and be the best human that you can be. And in 6 years, you're going to have everything you ever wanted. I think that it would be relatively easy, and we'd all be very excited to go put the time in for the next 6 years if we just absolutely knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that we were going to have everything we wanted. But so often in life, we don't know. Like, man, what happens if I do all of these things and then I never get to where I want to be, is how so many people think. And my answer to that would be, would that be so tragic? Like, if you loved as much as you could love, and you created amazing moments in the present, you created the most amazing moments that you could afford to create. Do you realize that taking your kid to McDonald's and buying them a $5 Happy Meal, and then really just sitting down with them and listening to them and really being truly interested in what's going on in their life, you realize if you've got a 6, 7, 8-year-old kid, you go to McDonald's and you let them play on the play toy and you have that $5 Happy Meal, and you spend a half an hour just really asking them, hey, little Bradley, how was your day today? Oh yeah, what did you learn? And not like on your phone, like, yeah, that's great, Brad. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I'm on the phone. Go play on the toy. Go play on the toy, Brad. Go play. I'm not talking about that kind of time, but where you really just literally sat there with your kid and showed an interest, and then they tell you, man, we played basketball today. In basketball, I feel like I've got some talent at basketball, Dad. I did really good at basketball today. You got your little 6-year-old son there telling you that he loves basketball, and you say, oh man, that's awesome, son. I loved basketball too. Hey, let's go get you a pair of basketball shoes. And guess what? If you can't afford to go out and buy your kid a $200 pair of basketball shoes, that's okay. They don't care. Take them to Goodwill. Take them to the thrift store down the street and buy them the best pair of basketball shoes that you can afford. And then to go take them and play some basketball. You realize that if you live in the moment today and you make the best memories that you can make, and that you live the best life that you can make, you go get in the best shape that you can get in, you love people and you're generous as much as you can be today, that even if you never got all of the dreams that you want, you'd still have a pretty darn incredible life, especially compared to the person that's waking up ungrateful and unsatisfied and that doesn't have a good relationship with their wife, and their kids don't like them, and they never spend any time with the people in their lives. They get an opportunity to be generous, and they're greedy instead, and they want their money for what they want it for. They don't want to give a little bit to their church or give a little bit to this family in need or whatever. I promise you, you can change your life, and you can realize very quickly that you're living the life of your dreams right now. Right now can be the best day of your life. No matter what your financial position is, no matter what your health condition is, no matter how bad the relationship with your spouse is, no matter how bad the relationship with your kids is, no matter that you haven't talked to your mom or your dad for 20 years, today can be the best day of your life. With that, folks, I love you. I'm going to go over here to the chat, and I hope that you guys are all doing fantastic. I want to give a quick shout out to a few of you, because I do love each and every one of you, and I appreciate you so much for spending, over an hour of your life with me today. So XM Textile, thank you for being here. God bless you, buddy. We got Mr. Chucks. Hi, Chucks. How you doing? I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Happy Monday, my friend. And then Mr. Dave P. God bless you, Dave. Thank you so much for being here, man. I tell you, you guys being here today with me means the world to me. It really does. I don't think you realize how happy I am when I see Dave P's name in the chat. And I miss you guys when you're not here. John, you're here, man. Thank you for being here. When, Pablo, I love you, Paul. And when you're not here, I miss you. I notice when you're not here, and that's not to make you feel guilty by any means. I know that life comes up, but I just want you guys to know that you make a difference in my life when you show up and you listen to me. Thank you for being here. God bless you. I appreciate you. I think I said hi to John McPolly. John McPolly, thank you for being here, man. You are another OG now. You've been here every day for the last, few months. You are here on every single stream, and I appreciate you. Cian or Sean, however you pronounce that, thank you for being here. God bless you. Hope you are having a wonderful day. Tim G, good morning, afternoon or evening. I guess it's afternoon for Tim G. Tim says, 2019 was my last real vacation. Well, buddy, I tell you what, man, we are going to change that. We are going to have some incredible years in front of us. And I look forward, Tim, you're one of my favoriteest people on this planet that I've never had an opportunity to actually get to give a big hug and meet in person. And we're going to change that one of these days. I don't know if there's any way that you can come out to the Bitcoin 2025 conference here in, the end of May or not, but I would love to see any of you that can make it out to Bitcoin 2025 in Las Vegas and be able to, maybe do a little bit of a get together, go out and buy you guys some dinner and, meet you in person. But if we don't get to do that, you and I are gonna spend some time on a tropical island or doing some trout fishing on a stream in Montana, something somewhere, buddy. I'm really looking forward to actually being able to give you a hug and shake your hand in person. Who else? Here we got the real Varnells. Hey, Deanna, that is my beautiful bride. And that reminds me, folks, we actually recorded our first episode yesterday. So we got to get it spruced up a little bit before we get it published. But we do have the first episode of the real Varnells is there to, watch. And so we'll get you the link to that. I know that a lot of you watching this have already subscribed to the channel. I'll try to find the link. I don't have it right now, but yeah, I'm really excited about the real Varnells and going through our life. And then we've got Mr. Dave P says, great info, Brad. Thank you, Dave. Once again, man, I appreciate you being here. You're another person that I really am excited about meeting in person one of these days. Hey, Mr. Brian Bray, man. How you doing, man? Aim your mind. Miss you, buddy. I miss you too. I love you, Brian, man. This is a great friend of mine. He lives out in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, one of my favoriteest places in the world. And man, incredible man. And, also big, huge, incredible dreams, has an amazing, amazing son. Man, watching him with his son is amazing. Like, you want to talk about love and sacrifice and doing everything to make sure that your son can have a better life than you did. Mr. Brian Bray is the epitome of that. So I'm glad that you were able to hop on the show today, Brian. Hope you enjoyed it once again. Happy Monday, Chucks. Tim G, I love you all. I'm going to go pick up my son. So my son has been in California with his girlfriend for the last week. I'm going to go spend a couple hours driving to get him. I'm going to listen to some more Myron Golden, some more Ed Milet. And so that's the other thing, folks. Drive Time University. You think, where does Brad get all of the time to listen to this Myron Golden that he's talking about? Well, I'm not sitting here at my house just listening to Myron Golden all day long. Like, I got work to do. I got things to do, videos to record, live streams to be on, coaching calls and all sorts of stuff. So when do I listen to Myron Golden? I listen to him every single time I get in the car. The very first thing that I do, folks, is I hop on my phone, and you can see I didn't even have to touch anything. Like, YouTube is right there. And, in fact, this gentleman right here in the middle of that screen there, she makes $300K every month. That is another guy that I'm listening to that is actually a student of Myron Golden. But folks, like, if you look here, I'll show you. If you look at the history, look at the history there. If you can see that, Ed Milet is one of the first one, How to Control Your Mind. The second one is a Myron Golden video. And so you go through, I can't afford any help. This is a Dan Martell. I know you guys can't see it, but my point is, when I'm in a car, especially if it's by myself, sometimes I can talk my wife into listening to some of this stuff, but we've got somebody else that we listen to a lot when it's her and I. But when I'm in my car, I listen to this stuff. I don't listen to music. I love music. Don't get me wrong. I love music. Sometimes when my wife and I go on a road trip, like, we turn on our favorite songs. Like, we got Brad's playlist and we just rock out and we're singing at the top of our lungs. I love that. But 99% of the time, if I'm in a car by myself, I am listening to Myron Golden. I am listening to Ed Milet. I am listening to these people that are helping me to transform my lives. At the gym, I don't listen to music. I'm already at the gym. I'm pumped. I'm excited to be working out. I'm excited to be lifting those weights. I don't need music to keep me excited at the gym. So I listen to these business mentors of mine, this is how you can get around wealthy people that have what you want in life if you don't have a lot of money, man. YouTube is the best resource in the world. So anyways, with that, I'm going to get a couple hours of listening into some good stuff, go grab my son, and then guess what? This is one of my favorite ways to make him listen to some of the stuff that I'm listening to, because he knows it's powerful. He knows it's important, but he'd be the first one to tell you that he doesn't listen to it anywhere near as much as he should. So I'm going to find something that I think will be valuable for me, but I'm going to find something that I know is going to be valuable for my son. And that's what we're going to listen to on the way home, because he's stuck in the car with me and it's my car, and he's going to listen to what I want him to listen to. So he's going to get 2 hours of some good stuff on the way home. So with that, folks, I love you. Have a fantastic rest of your day. We will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. for the trader live stream. Excited to go over that with you. The trade that I placed 2 weeks ago is still in play, folks. And right now it is up 67%. So I'm excited to show you that trade and to make some new ones and kind of go over where the market is and where I think the market is going. We got $88,000 Bitcoin. So don't miss tomorrow, Trader Tuesday's live stream. With that, have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye for now.